congratulations making it this far here, Rival. Y'all are going up against eUnited, the finals rematch. I gotta ask here, things gonna be going different this time. What are y'all expecting the end result to be?
We're going to beat them 2-0. That's it. Nothing much to be said.
So Alpha, coming into this set, obviously you guys played against each other at Worlds, but the meta has changed since then. Is there anything expected out of this set that is going to go differently than what happened at Worlds?
A victory for us is going to be what's different. But in terms of the meta, we've noticed that they've prioritized double Hunter rather than going for a mage in the mid lane, and that's going to be their downfall.
So you mentioned the double Hunter there. Is there anything else where you think there might be some weakness on this eUnited roster? I mean, a lot of talk about Benji all the time. You know, a lot of talk about these different areas. Where are y'all looking in particular to try and exploit this team?
Looking to exploit them in the mid lane. As I said, double Hunter is fantastic for getting early lane pressure, but when it comes to the mid game fights and the late game fights, the lack of a big team fight ultimate from a mage really hampers your ability to win those late game team fights.
Next to your question then, honestly, is what is it that Rival have that you think eUnited don't? What is it that you guys bring?
We're just better.
Just overall?
It's just better.
Is there anything like you guys as a team enjoy doing more? What is it your real strength is as a team?
Clowning around and winning tournaments.
Alright, so obviously eUnited's not going to be a roadblock for you guys based on your confidence here. So then where's the bump that you all are expecting to bump into next then after this eUnited team? Since you're going to easily 2 of them, right? That's really cool.
I mean, if you have a look at the script, we win the tournament, so there's going to be no road bumps.
I guess my last question then is going to be for you guys. Who do you expect to face in the finals, considering you're going to take down eUnited?
Dignity's last 2 times, and we're going to beat them both times.
Okay. Thanks a lot for your time, boys.
Thank you for having us.
Rest of your day.
Well, a very confident interview there from Team Rival. Finch here on the desk. I have Melissa Taco Posado here with me as well, and we're reeling a little bit from that interview. You can kind of hear me laughing in the background there, enjoying the confidence from Team Rival.
I love it. It is so hard, and it's so easy to see why these guys tend to be fan favorites, or at least loved by the public so much. I mean, that is just such a fun interview to see. And the best part about it all is I believe Wlfy meant every single one of those statements without a shadow of a doubt in my mind.
No, it was not just for the camera. I went and asked him about it later on, like in the little the common area we have, and I'm like, so you really think it's gonna be 2? He goes, yes. And that was it.
And that's it.
He's like 100% confident in it, but you know, you heard us alluding to it a little bit there. We can start talking about what the actual, you know, whole breakdown for the tournament is going to be looking like, the path that these teams are going to have to take if they want to make their way through the tournament. Team Rival and eUnited up there in round 2. This is, of course, the upper bracket, so these teams up here haven't lost yet. See Dig and Space Station on the bottom half. The team that drops down goes into losers. The other team moves right on through, so you want to make sure you can make it through every set you can.
And even if you do end up in the lower bracket and having to work your way back through, that's one of the fun parts about double elimination. You still get that second life. You have a chance to, you know, draw back on some of the things that went wrong, reanalyze everything, and then hope to improve for the following set and maybe make a run back potential. But looking at Rival here today, I mean, Wlfy, we already know how confident he is. We know that the rest of his team is probably just as confident as him as well. And I think that that is something that's really important to consider, because Rival have looked very strong throughout the duration of the spring online split. And this, to me, this particular matchup is something more, because even though it's not that Worlds matchup, so it won't have the same kind of pizzazz that you would expect from a Worlds environment. I mean, that just goes without saying, but it is just that vengeance. Like, Rival have made it very obvious how badly they want this win, and I don't think that they'll be accepting anything lower.
Well, I think their confidence is well founded, Taco. Not only are they the top team, but I mean, they look good doing it, right? I mean, I have something on the notes here. They have the shortest average game length in the SPL, Taco, and by like 2 minutes shorter than everyone else. It's not only are they winning games, but they're getting it done relatively quickly. I mean, is there anything you can think of that might be why Rival's seeing that much success? I mean, is it their confidence? Are they just ahead of everyone else? I mean, what could be leading to that kind of success?
I just think that Rival plays so incredibly well together. It's kind of unreal. I mean, they almost always opt for these utility-based compositions, and it pans out so incredibly for them because they know how to pilot it. They know what they're doing. They've been together for so long, and I don't want to call it reminiscing of like season 2, 3 energy Epsilon kind of period, because I honestly feel as though this Rival team is better.
Wow, well, this rival team certainly has been playing together for a while. You are not wrong there at all, Taco, but they're going to have their work cut out for them. They're going to be going up against eUnited, defending world champs, and not just that, but this is the team that actually beat them in the finals to claim that title, so we'll see if they can get their revenge up against eUnited.
Hello, eUnited. Welcome to day number 2. Your first opponent is going to be Rival. What are you feeling about this matchup?
Well, we have a lot of history with Rival, having played them at Worlds Finals and being fortunate enough to come out of that 3-1 and win. And I feel like they've been the strongest team throughout this year, I would say, only online split. So, I mean, it's a team that we have tremendous respect for, and I think it's very talented. And the second we saw the bracket, this is like the matchup I most anticipated, so I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, I think this is the matchup a lot of people are really looking forward to. Rival themselves, we talked to them earlier, and Wlfy and Alpha predicted the quick 2-0 here in this one. What about y'all's thoughts? How's this one going to go? The 2-0 in y'all's way? I mean, talk to me about how you think the actual set results are going to be.
Oh, it's going to be 2-0 easy, us.
Yeah. That was fast. Almost as fast as that first game against Nocturnes.
Yeah,
but,
that's what I was thinking too.
Outside of that one, though, they were actually commenting, saying how double hunters are bad. So they're feeling very confident against your guys' strategy. How do you feel about their specific strategy going into it?
I feel like we showed a lot less than pretty much every other team. We scrimmed, Dignitas a little bit and got to see how they play. I think that Space Station, we know pretty much everything that they do, and Rival looks like they just played the same stuff that they did online, kind of. So they're a team where you always expect them to kind of have pocket strats or have other things up their sleeves, but for the most part, I think we held a lot of information back. I think it punished us. We probably should have lost the first game versus Nocturnes because of that, but I think that if they are expecting to us off of that one game versus Nocturnes, they are going to look very silly.
Well, Ben, I've been going over the stats myself, man, and you've played, I think, 11 different gods over the spring split. That might be the most out of anybody. Is that you trying to figure out what works? Is that just your flexibility? And is that going to help you here in this set? Talk to me a bit about that.
It's definitely the flexibility. I can pretty much play like anything that my team needs me to play. I'll adapt to what the team needs me. But overall, I think like in this, like we have our set gods that we're going to play, and we're probably going to just win with it.
So assuming you guys win this 2-0 easy peasy lemon squeezy, who would you rather face moving into the next round, Dignitas or Space Station Gaming, and why?
I mean, from a competitive standpoint, pretty much no preference. I think that if you're going to be in a position to win a LAN, I said this before Worlds as well, I think you have to be prepared for any team that you play, and you can't really worry about trying to pick out a certain matchup and expect to win or lose based off that. I would prefer to play Dignitas should we get to them, because I haven't really gotten to play that team as much. I mean, we know Space Station like the back of our hand, so I'd much rather play a new opponent because I think it's more fun. You can learn more off of that.
Now, Rival predicted it would be them and Dig all the way in the finals. They're looking all the way towards the end. I assume you all imagine it'll be you in the finals. Who do you think will be there with you most likely to make it to that end of the bracket?
It's so hard to tell. I think information can change so much. I mean, based off today, really, because you're getting the first time that the two NA and EU teams are going to play each other, you'll see the kind of style differences and everything. And I feel like it's really hard to predict the finals until after today. I think it could go anyway. I think all 4 of the NA and EU teams are really, really strong.
What do you guys feel about this LAN in comparison to others? Is there a different type of energy in this new building that you guys are thriving off of?
Not really. It's kind of like the same as every LAN, but this one's more serious because Rival wants revengeance and we want to keep beating Rival. So, I mean, we're kind of just driving off of that.
All right, well, certainly want to wish good luck to both of you all here in this set. We'll make sure that we keep our eyes on you throughout the rest of this tournament. Hopefully, get to see y'all here in this finals rematch and towards the finals here this tournament as well.
Thanks. Thank you.
Well, you got to hear it right there from eUnited. They understand the stakes are high with how much Rival want to try and get this rematch. But I think PolarBearMike, that calmness I heard from him was perfect. He said this is the day where we're really going to start learning a lot about some of these North American and EU team Taco. And I think he's 100% right. We're seeing them play against each other. Some of these are rematches. This is where we're finally going to start to see, I think, people start to put their cards on the table.
And not to mention, I think it kind of goes without saying that a lot of these teams also or at least as far as the North American and European teams are concerned, they didn't really reveal all of their playing cards that they're actually working with. And I think even here in the quarters, we're still not going to see everything, or at least all of the possible styles that some of these teams might opt for. I think that Rival, without a doubt in my mind, though, is probably going to be the jankiest kind of team, because they're certainly the kind to just want to whip out anything and everything if they feel it'll catch you off guard, as long as it funnels into that same sort of utility-based style. I think that no matter what, they can kind of just work around that because of how flexible a lot of their members are. And eUnited is just such a strong team at responding to those kind of recognizable plays that I think that's where Rival might run into some problems.
And I think you're right to sort of hone in on the fact that we might see that you don't know what you'll see, really, from Team Rival. And honestly, it's kind of true for both teams. These are both teams that have played a lot of different gods throughout the split. They have a lot of unique gods in their god pool, or gods that they don't play a whole bunch all at the same time. So you never really know exactly what you're going to see from Rival. You never know exactly what you're going to be seeing from eUnited. I mean, is it going to be like the Raw that we saw prioritized from them when they were playing earlier up against Mashu Boys from Rival? I mean, maybe not. They might be doing something entirely different. So how well eUnited can respond to that and answer it on the fly is what's really going to be important here.
One thing is for sure, though, and that is having spoken with some of the guys from Rival just a few minutes ago, even right before they started lining up for this match. I mean, they were so clearly driven to try and actually topple everyone that they've ever lost to before, and that's what makes this LAN incredibly fun, because two of the only teams that have beaten them recently are the exact team that they're going to have to face eventually if they want to find themselves as the actual LAN finals winners. And I think that all around is just like a different kind of air of excitement.
Oh, they wouldn't want it any other way, I don't think either, Taco. They want to be able to come in and defeat those teams that are supposed to be better than them, right? They want to come in and make sure they can kind of say without a doubt that they're the strongest team here. But we are ready. Picks and bans. Game number 1 between eUnited and Team Rival, already into that ban phase. Athena and Ares taken off the board. The Athena maybe, just a meta ban, but Ares, that feels like a Kala special right there. Ban that away.
eUnited are just completely putting Kalas in their sights, because Athena and Ares, probably two of his more favored picks, and for good reason. They're two very utility-heavy based Guardians that are great for that team setup that Rival tends to go towards. I also like the response, though, from Rival to strip away the Achilles and the Uller. It's not really a shocker that eUnited prefer to have some burst, and I think that both the Uller and the Achilles are strong gods to complement eUnited style.
Those will probably work for them well, so make sure that they take them off the board. You talked about how they're trying to ban some of Kalas' god pool. I mean, these are two of his top-played gods, the Ares and the Athena. The only other one he plays as much is the Fafnir that we saw from in the spring split, at least, so maybe that might be what he falls back to, as Janus and Serqet are locked in for Rival. Two very popular gods in the meta right now. Tons of mobility. It's going to be difficult to nail them down.
It's not even just that. eUnited's draft is pretty spooky, if you ask me. Rival already leaning more towards that execution side of things, but eUnited, Ravana, Artemis, Terra, that just screams damage all the way through. No pun intended either, by the way, before anybody says something.
Oh, you meant
Screammmmm
damage. Right. How many? PolarBearMike was telling me that since he's the captain, he has to check them in every time, and he has to make sure it's exactly the same number of M's in his name every time he screams in. So he's gonna be a shout out to Scream. Thank you for making life harder on PBM.
You don't have to worry about it. Clerky wasn't putting up with Scream's BS, man. He put one M on the jersey, and he's like, "You're gonna take this and be fine with it." Okay?
I was like, "You're not gonna tell him to put more M's on the jersey?" He goes, "No." So he just had to leave it alone. But yeah, Rob and Artemis to go along with that Terra, certainly scary. Likely the Terra Artemis will be the duo lane for PBM and PandaCat. So we'll see if Rival try to go with something that can match the pressure that those two gods can provide. Cerberus is going to be the selection for them, and still not sure where that's going. That could certainly be solo or support.
I would probably want it to be support in this instance, because I do think that the Cerberus might be a necessity in order to punish the Artemis pretty early on. I think that between the Serqet and the Janus, there's already so much mobility that all you really want to do is just rotate this Cerberus around the map to maybe look and shut down PandaCat early on. eUnited between the Terra and the Artemis, if this is what their dual lane is going to be composed of, very strong wombo combo between the root into the Artemis trap, and well, anytime you get stuck in that Transgressor's Fate, there's probably more damage to follow.
Yeah, she'll start suppressing the insulin right after that, I imagine, will be what the plan is from that Artemis. So
it sounds so intense.
Isn't it?
When you
very
think about
intense?
it's like, I am suppressing the insulin
I hope
right
you're
now,
ready for
guys.
my vengeful assault that's coming your way. So yeah, you don't want to mess with Artemis at this point, as Fafnir going to be the ban. So the one I suggested could potentially be a pick has actually been taken away, expecting another Guardian to still go the way of eUnited.
This also, to me, leads me to believe that if Rival are willing to ban a Guardian, that even more so the Cerberus will be in the support role.
Sure.
And so eUnited are probably going to, well, they have the opportunity to focus towards that dual lane. I like that they strip away the Jingwei. I think that limiting mobility as much as possible from Rival is a wise decision. Wouldn't be too surprised to see a Hachiman ban maybe shortly after, but they also might want to maybe look towards taking away an Osiris, for example, from Deathwalker.
Cyrus taken away could certainly be a good option, as Jingwei is banned by eUnited. They don't want to deal with that safe hunter. That's a good point. Rival still haven't selected their hunter. We've seen a lot of double hunters be prioritized to the point where Rival even said, hey, if they play double hunters against us, we're going to win. So I'm wondering if that's what eUnited are planning, or if they do want to go to a mage. Venenu's played a ton of stuff this split, so it's kind of hard to predict what he's going to do.
Well, Venenu said it himself in the interview. His god pool, I think, is a lot more flexible than some of the other mid laners that we have in the SPL, because he does tend to pick whatever his team
He played
needs
Chiron
him to.
once. He played in the mid lane.
He's just like him and Baskin can both flex their god pool so easily, and it's pretty impressive stuff all around. I am a fan of the Geb ban.
I'm surprised by the still Guardian focus in these bans, but Taco, you like this Geb ban. What is it you like about it? I know we thought maybe Cerberus was going support, but they go ahead and take this Geb off the board.
Just in case. They want to make sure that he won't have that. I didn't even get a chance to say that Vote will probably look for the Anhur. This is a matchup as old as time itself. Anhur v Artemis, and it's also one of those situations where, yes, Anhur does have that Desert Fury to help him with boxing against the Artemis at the level 5 stage, but you still need to be careful because of that crit passive from the Art and the range of the Suppress the Insolent. Artemis does tend to be more favorable in the mid to late game period, but Wlfy himself said it. He wants these games to be ending no later than like 25-30 minute mark.
They want to try and take care of these games easily. Not only is Anhur a god rival, or rather Vote is comfortable playing on. He certainly played it throughout the split, but even I think he just played it yesterday in that set versus Mashi Boy, so certainly warmed up and ready to go on the Lion here. We'll see what the response is going to be from eUnited. Hey, man, Benji and Chulainn kind of feels like you can't say one without saying the other at this point, so certainly wouldn't have a problem giving that one to him.
And this is, again, just one of those picks that Benji is going to absolutely love, but eUnited with the Poseidon. Now, don't get me wrong. Poseidon, by all means, funnels into their draft very nicely. Plus, you have the Poseidon that is great against the Janus because that Whirlpool Cripple
Are they
is
going to get
very
another
useful.
hunter?
They could potentially be trying to throw DW onto another hunter. I think they're messing with us.
I think so, too, yeah. Go ahead and play something that's not another hunter. But yes, you're right. Talking about Poseidon, Rival were talking about how strong they felt like their compositions would be, or their strategy would be against the double hunter. Well, we won't even get to see it, as eUnited do put a traditional mage into the hands of Venenu, most likely with that Poseidon, and Odin is going to be the lock-in for Rival.
I feel like this is exactly what Rival wanted to happen, though, because looking at eUnited's draft, there isn't really any form of solid escape. They're going to be forced into picking up Phantoms, and whether they decide to go with one or two of them, I think that that's already kind of... I don't want to call it a handicap towards eUnited, because upgraded Phantom is still a very strong relic, but it's just when you aren't able to opt for that secondary shell or the sprint or even a horrific, I do think that Rival might have a slight advantage here.
Yeah, I think any time that you can dictate what your opponents have to build, I mean, that's already, the ball's already kind of in your court, isn't it? So it certainly can help Rival if they have to force eUnited to build a specific way. But Taco, I mean, you've got both drafts here on paper. You heard the confidence from Rival in the interview. Did that sway you? Who do you have here in this game?
God, it's I have such a hard time deciding, but
it's close.
I am gonna give it to Rival because of that Odin pick.
Giving it to Rival for the Odin pick. Well, I did pick Rival with my bracket, so I got to ride that one out, see if they can get this win here. But the casters are standing by, and they're ready.
Yeah, thank you so much, Analyst Desk. And the one thing for me, I think the cat is amongst the pigeons with that Odin pick, because I'm not sure where it's going to go. Will it be in the solo lane, or will it be in the duo lane?
I loved your turn of phrase there. I've never
Cat
heard
amongst the pigeons?
Yeah, that's definitely a European one. But as we watch the Europeans go against the North Americans here, I don't care where Odin is. This is a great selection. The last pick, Odin, is one of the oldest tricks in the book that the competitive players still fall for, where you just sit there full draft and go, oh, we don't have jumps.
I mean, that whole picks and ban draft, when you look through it, it was a mental battle of wits between the two of like 5 Guardian bans in that one. Is Cerberus solo? Is Terra solo? Is Terra support? Is Cerberus support? They played that game through the whole picks and bans. That was almost a game in itself.
The game that I liked the most was the Fafnir game. So both of these guys both love the Fafnir, both PolarBearMike and across the way. I think Collis is known for the Fafnir as well. And so everybody was trying to bait players into picking the Fafnir until finally it was banned out by Rival, and you saw that Poseidon pick. I think eUnited really wanted to see Collis on the Fafnir because they wanted to play the Poseidon, which punishes the Dwarf really hard.
Well, Poseidon's going to have a pretty good time, I think. Serqet and Janus both do struggle a little bit. Obviously, the cripple from the Whirlpool is going to shut down the mobility they're going to have through the portals, through the walls, and obviously Serqet dashes away.
Yeah, it's really hard to get the Whirlpool out against the Janus, but I think that Venenu's the type of player with the foresight required, because you have to kind of read the portals coming out and then drop the cripple because it activates a second later. But I trust Venenu on this pick. Poseidon's also one of the characters that Venenu came out with at first when he transitioned into the mid lane.
Sure.
He's playing a lot of characters that just kind of looked like yesterday's meta, and when he was a new mid laner, you kind of sat there going, just play what everybody else plays. What are you doing? But now, after he sort of earned his stripes, play the Poseidon, man. Take it away from Wlfy as well and do your thing.
Well, last time they met, you saw the interviews with both these teams beforehand. Rival coming in very confident, as you'd expect. Probably a little bit more banter-esque more than anything else. But who do you guys think will win game one? A lot of this will come down to the draft, in my opinion, for this first game, just to see how this one works out. I still think it's Odin support and Cerberus in the solo lane, because I feel like the Odin will be more impactful throughout the game then.
Here's the deal. If Odin controls the game, this game was all about picks and bans. If not, and eUnited can play around the Odin ring, then this game is all about what happens on the battlefield.
It's also funny because, like, if there wasn't the Serqet in this draft from Rival, I could have even said iceicebaby's played a lot of Odin, but I don't see Serqet in the solo lane as much, so I'm like, she's going to be in the jungle here.
Yeah, I guess so. Serqet doesn't really benefit from anything from extra farm.
No.
Doesn't really do well with a ton of power, so you don't necessarily need her there. Because a lot of times I do like the solo assassin because you can get amplified up and you can find yourself a level or two higher with some extra items. Serqet, not really the assassin I want to see there. So, yeah, I do think it's going to be the Odin in the solo lane. But you want to see the support?
I think support. We'll get into game momentarily. These guys just getting themselves ready for this one at home, so we'll be straight in alongside it when it's ready too. Obviously, winner of this advances in the upper bracket. Losers not out of the tournament, luckily enough. They do go down to the lower bracket, where they get to potentially take on another EUNA team later on if they can get past their international opposition.
Exactly. Today's cut in half. Earlier today, we saw the lower bracket teams play it out. Nocturnes took on Mashi Boys, and Nocturnes was actually the victor there. And then Black Dragons versus Uyghur and Servo, the Oceania team, will go home.
They nearly won a game.
It came so close.
Nearly won their first international game, but not to be.
And speaking to them after the fact, they were happy is the wrong term, but they looked at the responses that they made in game number 2, they being the Oceanic team, and were like, look, we can kind of do that. So that was the first half of the day. Now we're on to the upper bracket. So we got second chances here as we watch these teams go head to head.
Now it gets interesting. We'll be in game momentarily. Very excited about this one. Anhur versus Artemis 2. One matchup. Taco was mentioned it on the desk. It's going to be Deathwalker solo. So you predicted the Odin, in the solo lane. I would have liked to have maybe seen it in the support role, but I do know Collis is going to be good on this Cerberus.
That's the key. Is like I love to see Collis here on the Cerberus. The fans at home think so as well. About 3/4 of y'all think that the Europeans are going to win this one. Now, I don't think I have to remind anybody.
Is it because the North American kids aren't home yet from school and stuff? And in Europe's like, it's their evening? Is that the reason?
That's exactly what it is.
Do you think that's what it is?
Yeah, it's what is it, 2:45 to 3 Atlanta time? So, yeah, the NA kids are just getting out right now.
They'll be like, watching this game back going, wait, what? The voting was this? Well, maybe the fans at home like the picks and bans. We can't detract from that. Bring me back to that Cerberus point anyway.
Cerberus point is the fact that Collis has a fantastic Ares. And Cerberus, not just the ultimate, but the way that he plays, he's very aggressive. It's a god that makes a lot of sense to see Collis play. And the Paralyzing Spit's an interesting ability, and you were drawing comparisons to the Fafnir that he's known so well for.
Yeah, and that's because of the Fafnir Hammer. Like, he's well known for landing that Fafnir Hammer. Not the easiest ability in the world to always connect with, but a blink. Hello? Not sure about that one. I think Deathwalker wanted to get first hit. That's what it was.
So Deathwalker goes ahead.
You got a stack. I mean, they both got a stack. This is two solo laners that are very experienced. Left-hand side of the map, however, you can see also they're both stacking up those Warrior's Blessings. But look at the left-hand side. eUnited is surrendering the lane, realizing they can't fight an Anhur and a Cerberus early on with an Artemis and a level 1 Terra. So instead, they're going to take their own jungle.
Yeah, just looking for the... Because this is the result of pressure in the lane, is to invade that jungle. So eUnited just kind of giving up the first turn, if you will, and then going for the jungle. So the entire wave lost out there. No, look at this play.
Hugging the wall.
Yeah, so the players are hugging the wall. Those last 3 minions that got hit by the tower, PolarBearMike and PandaCat will get experience and the gold for it. So 12 gold in total from the wave, plus the stuff from the purple buff as well.
Mid lane, both junglers going to arrive, and Venenu going to get a poke, but a blinking from Screammmmm, and it's iceicebaby, the world of her, in the worst position possible in the portal. He couldn't use it. The whirlpool crippled him to high heaven.
Easy play there from Scream. Love the mindset or the instinct to go ahead and wrap around and look for the body block. We're seeing that more and more as players are looking for the minutia to separate themselves from the opposition. So really smart stuff. By the way, that's what that blink was about in that solo lane, was Deathwalker was trying to blink to get the body block in front of Benji and maybe get a couple of cheeky hits in that way. Well, it didn't happen, so they all laughed about it.
They got a couple of stacks in it as well. Venenu, however, in the mid lane on that Poseidon, involved in that first kill that went the way of Scream, has started off with the ring. It's something that we've seen Wlfy do, actually, from Team Rival, bringing that on Poseidon. He goes for the Shaman's Ring early. After the boots, you start with the Emerald Ring and invest in the Shaman's Ring, get those stacks online, and the bonus damage comes into play on all your abilities.
It's percentage. It's 10% extra damage, not abilities. Everything you do, that includes your basic attacks, so when you're tridenting, that also gets amplified.
And that's a key, it's the Trident. The Trident means you're going to swing an extra 10% on each one. Not only that, Trident's a great movement ability too, and that item just gives so much in that whole respecting area. So we'll see if it goes this Shaman's Ring.
And when we see mages go for first item, not counting boots, I always call that the power bank item. That's the item that you're basically building your mid and early game off of.
It's your plow.
Exactly, and it's your battery pack essentially.
Yeah.
PolarBearMike getting aggressive here, but no big deal. Anyway, what we're looking at forward when we're looking at these items, they're all 100 power across the board, essentially. So when you compare Thoth to Warlock Staff to Bancroft, 100 power about. Some are higher, some are lower.
But it's the passives, right?
Exactly. So as long as Shaman's Ring is 100 power, it's competitive with the other options, and there really is no reason not to see that chosen.
Well, outside of the first blood, nothing really splitting these two teams so far. Ravana went back to base early, Scream did, and picked up his boots too, but didn't have enough gold even with the first blood to get them fully online. But that's the only difference in builds right now. Boots 1 versus Boots 2 between the junglers.
I actually also like, can we mouse over that level 1 ring? Because this is a big point as well.
The Emerald Ring?
Yeah, so it gives you 3% movement speed and 20 power, which seems kind of throwawayable. But at the end of the day, that movement speed really important.
Well, Wlfy's going to need some movement speed right about now. Has to beat and pull away, but Venenu trying to use that movement speed to give chase, trying to get in range. It's level 5. Ward is down, looking for lazy back. Blink came from Scream. Going to force the ultimate out of Wlfy. And Venenu going under the tower, using the minion. Still chasing Ice, but the blink saves him from the Kraken.
Ice, baby, with the hot play. I don't fault Venenu for that. It looks bad, but that's one of those just hot plays from Ice.
Honestly, I didn't look at his cooldown. Was Whirlpool on cooldown there?
I don't think so.
I don't think if Whirlpool, because even if he goes to the Whirlpool, he's still going to blink anyway, but I would have preferred the Whirlpool confirm it into a Kraken. Small little difference. Still would have been available. Still would have been the same way, even if Whirlpool was available there. But I would have preferred to see Whirlpool. Small details like that.
Yeah, like you said, I think Ice gets out no matter what. So
I mean, I've been in that position where I've Whirlpooled as a Poseidon and gone, oh, he's dead. Throw Kraken. But the first tick of Whirlpool is when the cripple is also applied. So he would have still had time to blink if that Whirlpool came down too.
Exactly. You got time to respond there, not put into combat immediately. It's one of the downsides, actually, to Poseidon, that It's one of those things that seems so insignificant, but at a high level is just super punishable.
And what other level could this be? This is one of the highest levels. The two teams that went to the World Championships for season
The finals, by
the
the
finals, yeah. And played in the finals. It went 3-1 to eUnited. A lot of talk about that set overall. Rival disappointed in their performance and looking for revenge here today. Confident coming into it, as have been eUnited.
It's a 3-2 in my mind. You know, I even made a video where I called it a 3-2 kind of recently from that final set, because that fourth game was Team Rivals all the way home, and then one play, they miss an objective confirm, and eUnited take it and take the series and take the World Championship. So as we look at Team Rival here, I mean, this is a team that just barely lost at Worlds, and you saw the interview. They're confident and ready to go.
3-on-3 collapse around the red buff, but red buff already down. Vote gonna leap away, but Callus cannot do the same. He's cracking, but in goes iceicebaby, looking to return the favor to Venenu, who cannot heal because of that tick, but it's not enough to get a kill. Meanwhile, Scream gets the kill on Vote.
3-0 so far. Scream not done just yet.
Raven is a problem already.
Scream's Raven. I almost said Raven's Scream, and I don't think there's a difference.
No.
He tweeted, I forget when it was. Maybe it was even Worlds, but realistically, I think it was the spring split where he just said, hey, if I play Raven, we win XD. And it was kind of tongue-in-cheek, but it's also just the damn truth. You give this kid the Raven, and they run away with it.
Listen, 200 IQ jungler like that, you can't complain. You did see though iceicebaby trying to answer back with stealing away a back harpies, but couldn't find it. eUnited well aware of the wraparound there from iceicebaby, looking to invade a little bit. And talking about invasions, here comes Benji on his rotation. It might be a little bit too late for this speed, but the whole Goon squad's coming. Wlfy could be the one in trouble, actually, if they do look between tier 1 and tier 2. But instead, the 4 men realize the speed is down and will fall back.
How theatrical. We see Benji, and then we just see 3 players come into
all
the screen.
Together?
Yeah, I don't want to mess with that.
But that's a good thing about eUnited already in the set. Only 7 minutes in, they're already starting to group up and use the momentum they have found so far in this game to start trying to put it to bed earlier than a lot of people would expect.
Interesting ability leveling coming out from PandaCat. No points at all in the steroid. The Vengeful Assault empty there. So just trying to put a bunch of points. No surprise to see a lot of points in the volley, the third ability.
Yeah.
But 2 points in trap, I mean, that just seems odd.
Cooldown reduction is the only reason I can see of wanting to max that out more to get the cooldown so you can place a couple more of them. I want to lean towards misclick more than anything else, but obviously it's PandaCat. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. He is one of the masters of Artemis, even though Vote this season has been the one to go back towards it with the blink too. Panda was the first one to do it. Everyone else has started doing it just lately.
I actually love the Chulainn skin for eUnited. So the world champions get a super top tier skin made after them, and Benji played Chulainn so well that that's actually their choice. And there's a voice line in about PandaCat's Blink Artemis.
Yep.
That's how that's how important that god choice is to the squad, and it's both identity creating and also just kind of similar to Scream's choice. It just wins them games sometimes.
So after those 3 kills now in the last attempt at an invasion from eUnited, I guess the question is Rival just playing safe for a couple of minutes now? Is that the game plan here? Play safe, survive this early phase, and don't fall further behind.
Absolutely. They want to give Wlfy a chance to actually build his Warlock staff, let alone stack it. iceicebaby. Serqet's a really nice jungler because I feel like she's got a gear shift. She can be this hyper-aggressive early game monster that we've seen Scream play, where she's just all over looking for ganks. But if you miss that opportunity, if you're not able to get your application in the mail, then you can kind of default to being the tankier, the middle of the pack void shield type character or full tank. So right now, iceicebaby just kind of chilling.
Callus in a bit of an awkward spot there. Leaps away nicely though before the Whirlpool comes down from Venenu. On that rotation, left-hand Harpy's going to go the way of eUnited here. And Venenu, once again, with this build. Can we just see if he's maxing the Trident out of interest? I want to keep an eye on that Trident from Venenu and see if he is actually putting more points into that, because he's gone for Shoes of Focus.
Sure.
Then into some penetration too, which is one way, I guess, to counteract the fact that he's not got the Magi's shoes that we normally see.
Yeah, I think the early penetration kind of tilts kind of tips the hand that he's actually maxing the Whirlpool, which is pretty traditional.
Yeah.
Because the Spear of the Magus works so well with the dots and things like that Whirlpool. So I think Venenu going to go ahead and try to abuse that Spear of the Magus with the Whirlpool, which essentially strips you down to bare bones. You got 0 protections at this point in the game if he does finish off that Spear of the Magus, which he will. And that becomes a really scary spot to deal with Poseidon early game.
A couple of members of Rival starting to group up there. Blink from Deathwalker, not to actually try and engage Benji, but more to get back to the wave in time, not lose any bonus gold to the tower. Still getting experience from the tower, but you do lose a little bit of gold these days if the tower hits those minions.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about the difference between, what is it, 21-ish gold versus 4 gold if the tower hits it, and that's last hit value. You only get 3 gold if you don't get the last hit.
Yeah, that definitely adds up. So that lead at the moment really seen in the mid lane and the jungle positions. Everybody else relatively even. PandaCat ever so slightly behind that of vote, though. Seems like Callus has started to make a couple of rotations further away from that experience as time's gone on.
Punish this. Punish this. I know Rival are going to lose the tower. They should punish Benji.
Well,
instead.
the punishment was Callus. You asked for punishment, and eUnited were the ones that gave it you. Maybe Iceice can get the kill on Venenu, but he's so quick. The trident, the movement speed, keeping him alive. Wlfy does pick up Scream, though. The tower stands, and I guess at the end of the day, this works out well for Rival. It was the support for a jungler.
Yeah, just an even trade there. No big deal. Tower does still stand, so you know what? I'll eat my words. What I asked Rival to do, I wanted them to give up this tier 1 tower and go collapse on a Benji who was invading in that speed buff back there.
Oh, I thought you were talking about mid lane punish because of the aggression on it.
Yeah, no. I want to see them punish Benji. Deathwalker could have collapsed with the mid lane, but by ignoring Benji, they fought the mid lane team fight, which actually brought Benji away from that speed buff and forced him off of the invade. It was actually a really nice defense by way of offense.
Benji just transforms, and now Deathwalker and Iceice have to be careful. Most abilities used by Benji in the transformation. The main thing from Rival here was to defend the blue, I feel, and that's what Deathwalker's doing. Zoning away so Iceice can take it, making sure he still picks up the experience at the end of that. Nothing else really able to happen across the map as Rival have the Gold Fury warded heavily.
No surprises on that side of the map for Rival at the very least. eUnited, on the other hand, they have a little bit of a lead here, about 3,000 gold because of the kills that they were able to find earlier, but they've got to be looking for more. 3,000 gold is nice to sit on for now, but as the game gets later and later, in about 5 minutes, Team Rival isn't going to care about a 2,000 or 3,000 gold lead. They're going to be able to get to have their third items online, which is a really big power moment for these teams, and the difference between 2 items and 3 is a lot bigger than the difference between 3 items and 4 most of the time. So Rival have to make a move pretty soon.
I love this call from Callus as well, with how his build's going already. Rushing the Heartward Amulet more than likely here. He realizes early on he's going to be the focus of the Krakens. He's already eaten a couple already, or at least attempted to. So get the magical defense online a little bit earlier. You need physical as the game goes on, but that aura does give magical protections to your team too, which is going to be vital against Venenu's Krakens, who've been looking for it every single time.
And the key is that Callus is a character that needs to be alive in these team fights. The ultimate is all well and good, and it's going to be a large part of Team Rival's initiation plan, but he's got to be present throughout the team fight, stripping protections with the breath, finding the stuns, even the jump can be powerful. Callus is going to be focused by eUnited because of how much pressure and impact he can have in those fights.
There was a little cheeky moment there on the map, and it will go unnoticed by most, but you saw eUnited starting to group up. Hold that fort though, Blink from Deathwalker trapped in 2. Kraken on Deathwalker, but the shield absorbs it. Iceicebaby looking for a target and finds the Terra. Deathwalker though is getting low and Scream dived into the backline, but couldn't find a pick.
Venenu trying to follow up, drops the Whirlpool, making sure Rival can't come out of that tower. Though I don't think they had any intention for it. eUnited going for the Gold Fury, but walked right over Team Rival's ward. So the purple knows that this is going down.
Gold Fury is going down. It's going to go down relatively quickly. Boat's walking around the corner. Too little, too late. eUnited will get the Gold Fury.
And Vote even tried to play that coy. He stood behind the rock, making sure he wouldn't come out, too soon. He did not expect the amount of damage that eUnited was able to provide. I said Team Rival, 2,000 to 3,000 gold, and I mentioned the difference between items. That wasn't going to concern them. 4,400, 5,000. Rivals getting concerned.
Benji's going to walk back, see iceicebaby take on 2. Has transformation ready, so I can see why he wants to be aggressive, especially when he's got a 2-level lead over Deathwalker, 3 over iceicebaby. And it's actually going to be Rival falling back away from the world champion Chulainn that we've seen before. That goal through though, Tom, I want to go back to it. There was a moment where all the United players were missing on the map. And the ward coverage from Gold Fury was all United's. Rival had no vision there.
Right.
That's why Deathwalker rotated to mid. They find a chance to have a fight, and that kind of forced the fight because eUnited were missing. Rival went, are they on gold? Are they on gold? No, they're in mid. Let's fight. And they lose the fight, which in turn does lose them the Gold Fury.
Yeah, the Gold Fury goes the way of eUnited, and a nice clean lead here, 5,000 or so. Scream really drove this game in the early game and brought his team to the spot where Venenu can be this mid-game monster that he is.
Vote going for the Mage's Cloak early on, or Magi's Cloak as I should say, instead of going for some more attack speed that we usually like to see at this point, the Executioner or even the Ickvar that we see from PandaCat. He's gone for the extra bubble of defense here after. What's the reasoning for this? Is he really worried about this amount of CC?
I mean, really, that's the question that I was thinking myself. I mean, when you look across the way, it's kind of going to interrupt his flow with this play right
against
here.
iceicebaby. Ultimate down. Does give bonus damage, remember, and defense. Ultimate came through, however, Callus gets the kill thanks to a great rotation from Wlfy and Callus through those portals and turned the tide onto PandaCat there.
What happened? How are the beads on cooldown? Okay. So Vote pre-beads the boar so that he wouldn't get interrupted, and that's why we see the Magi's Cloak is for the same idea. You want to be able to make sure you're CC immune before you actually... Oh, he doesn't
Is it an Aegis? That's why he's got no beads. That's why he's got Magi's Cloak, I guess. I didn't see the blink come out. That was the wrong reason. I guess he's got the Magi's Cloak now. He wants blink. Blink Anhur. He's done it before. We've seen it be aggressive where he blinks in, looks for the impale, but...
Yeah, Blink Anhur is definitely a strong look. It's Blink Hunter is Vote.
Blink is just strong.
Well, Blink Artemis is PandaCat, right? Vote is just Blink. When we saw him experimenting, he played Kamazot's Hunter in the regular season. Blink on that character, no surprise. He's going to play these Blink Ulers. He's going to play the Blink Anhurs. He's looking to get right up on top and kind of punish him.
Definitely some interesting builds coming out, especially with PolarBearMike too now, going for the Lotus Crown this game on the Terra after completing the Gauntlet of Thebes. So he's looking to give that extra bit of sustain. Now, remember, when you pop that ultimate, the Urban Fury with Terra, it does give you a small heal.
Oh, that's a big heal.
Well, it's a heal over time is what I was really getting at, which means the Lotus Crown is continuing to apply.
It gives you a burst heal, and then it also gives you that hot. So that Lotus Crown is a big deal. Callus being chased around the tower, and this tier 1 has to crumble.
Well, it should crumble down, and that's more gold into the coffers of eUnited. They keep their gold lead around 5,000. And ever since that first gank of the game onto iceicebaby, it's eUnited in the driving seat. And my oh my, are they driving Rival back into their own half of the map.
Rival going to jump away there, at least the solo lane will. Deathwalker finds an exit on the right-hand side. Callus being chased by eUnited in its entirety. Scream jumps over the top with the ultimate. Kraken Man comes out, but it's Scream that finds the last hit on Callus. Deathwalker going to be chased out on the top side, but iceicebaby, the blink, the raid, the kill. Scream with the double.
Hey, that was a good turnaround from iceice though to get that ultimate off, but it won't slow down eUnited. They're whacking away on the tier 2 tower. Benji on zone duty, as you'd expect to see him. Still able to tank it up to 6-3, and a tier 2 tower falls in the mid lane.
Chulainn's not the character that he was at Worlds.
He has had some changes since then. Agreed.
And and it's also a different meta. And a lot of the naysayers out there, whether it be Reddit, Twitter, or whatever medium you find your naysayers on, have said that eUnited's success was largely stringent on Benji and thus the Chulainn.
Sure.
And a lot of people have said that had they not had, if Chulainn wasn't the way he was, that they wouldn't have won. They said that it was the character, not the players.
Listen, end of the day, if you're going to play a character and it works for your team, what's the issue? That's part of the game.
Sure, exactly. But they're saying that, different meta, different character. If eUnited right now has to go to Worlds, they don't win. Here's the thing. And I think Rival were kind of testing this. It's not Chulainn, it's Benji. He's just that damn good.
Hang on a
and
second,
the character
hold up.
enables him to do that.
Rival going for a cheeky FG. Screammm is just watching this happen though.
Yeah,
As
they know it's
soon
here.
as Rival see him, they have to run away. Callus leaps away from the crushing walls that came out from Terra, but all the while, PandaCat able to take this Gold Fury for free because they have the Oracles warded.
Bruh, you want to talk about audacity and just being arrogant? That Gold Fury, that was the biggest swag
Is on
move of
Venenu,
all.
and Venenu's nearly dead. Has to Aegis to tick damage. Still whittling away. Can't find the Trident for the damage on Ice. So it's a 1-for-1. Vote is dead, as is Venenu. But Team Rival have to skirtle back to base. Their tanks are very low. And this is a window. This is a great window for eUnited to look at the Fire Giant. Nobody from Rival can really contest. Can Ice come back in?
Nah, way too late.
He's got no blink. Oh, he does have his blink. Can he look for it? Too little,
way
too late.
This was you watched the interview with Team Rival, and they were just just
confident,
stand up there, cocky, confident, arrogant, whatever. That play from PandaCat was more arrogant than that whole interview.
It looks it, but on paper, eUnited's like, guys, they're all a Fire Giant. Oh, okay, I'll do Golf Fury. That's all the kind of comms were for that situation.
Yeah, but the thing is that they're at Fire Giant. We have to fight them, and PandaCat goes, they're not good enough to fight us 4v5. I'll take this one.
iceicebaby in a bit of an awkward spot. Has to beats the walls. Good beats there. But Benji's nearby. Mike can't find the route, though. Ice just too slippery on that Serqet to chase down. It's now over. What? Why are you laughing?
Ice, slippery. I see
Oh,
you.
I didn't mean that. I never do
You're
that
hanging out with
intentionally.
aggro too much.
9,000 gold. I know I don't want to. I don't have a choice. 9,000 gold, though, for eUnited. The defending world champions, I'm going to say it because that's what they are up 7-4 over Rival here in game one. A lot of people came into today, including myself, expecting Rival to win this one. I do think it was going to go all 3 games, though. And game one so far is looking very good for eUnited.
Rival has always been a team about adaptation. Rival plays what they play, but they react to what the opposition does very well. And they wind up winning game 2s a lot more than they wind up winning game 1s. Their Hindu man.
Benji versus the Will. I've said that a couple of times before, but this time he may get punished. He's buying a lot of time, though, to get this Phoenix. Phoenix is going to fall before anyone on Rival can get here. Space and time, was that fired already? Yes, it was used in the mid lane, so it's not available. They're trying to punish it, though. Venenu gets pulled in, but no one there for the follow-up. Ring down from Deathwalker, traps PandaCat inside, but he's not scared of continuing to fight.
Phantom comes out and he pushes forward. Wlfy finds the portal. Left side
Kraken.
Phoenix already down. Kraken turnaround. Deathwalker's going to fall as well.
This could be
Alice, that's going to be a second one. Screammm puts love potion number 9 on the board.
They could, if they find one more pick there, they could have ended, but I think the damage dealers being alive is the real issue for them. Instead, they're going to focus on this Phoenix and look to backdoor it. Mike tanking him up a storm. He's only got squishes alongside him. If he can glass Ravana as a squishy, Ice goes in, but he's trapped in a whirlpool, and Venenu goes, you want me? You having a giraffe? 2 Phoenixes down. eUnited could look to close.
The pre-beats from Venenu was incredible there. So it's one thing to pre-beads the abilities that you know are coming, right? You hear the Artemis boar scream, you hit beads, and you don't get interrupted. That's all well and good. Venenu, iceicebaby was standing next to Venenu for the entirety of that Phoenix siege, just waiting for an opportunity, and the travel time of Cobra's Kiss between hearing that noise and getting hit by it,
you got a little bit of a window.
0.3?
It's a tiny window. Well, to be fair, the fastest you can respond in Smite is 0.2, I believe. If that's the case...
Yes, 0.2 is generally looked at as human reaction speed.
Which is like 0.3, it means, well, that's really slow.
That was Venenu has just the lightning reflexes there. The travel time of when you hear the pss, pss, and the stars from iceicebaby for the crowd control, Venenu beads before he got hit by it, which is important. If he gets taunted for half a second, he dies there.
The most important thing for eUnited, though, is to realize that Venenu had both his relics available after the left-hand Phoenix siege, after being pushed under the tower by Callus with that ultimate. He still kept both his relics, and I don't think iceicebaby expected that when he went for that kiss. It was a big play to try and turn it around. At the end of the day, the Phoenix still fell.
iceicebaby, look, I can't say for 100% with 100% certainty, but I think after Callus grabs the entire team and puts them under tower, you gotta assume that everything's been used here or there.
Yeah.
So
that's exactly what I meant. I mean, the relic stayed up was little bit crazy. Only 24 minutes in this one, and eUnited in a very dominant position. Benji going to start to push up the left-hand side. The rest of eUnited paying attention to the lane they should be paying attention to. The one with the Phoenix still remaining. Rival need to find this pick on Benji if they're going to go for it quickly and then get over to the right-hand side. They can't let what happened last time around happen again.
Yeah, we see teams kind of lose it from time to time when they look for those picks and come up empty-handed. That can really be a bad beat. But Fire Giant spawning in about 27 seconds, and eUnited have their eyes on the prize. Team Rival, I don't know if they should defend this one. I want to see them push up the minion waves a little bit more so.
Space and time at best is the only thing you can really look to fire here. I love the fact they've just left the carries over there for the time being to do this one, but now Benji's going to tank it up for him. All 5 members of eUnited waiting for the Fire Giant, which will spawn. The poor guy has a really terrible time of things. I'm not going to lie, poor Fire Giant, man. Look at this.
I mean,
This is spawn camping. That's what that is. That's true spawn camping.
Yeah, but it's troublesome because he can't even fit in his own house. That's the problem.
If he was inside, he'd be safe. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, if he could fit through that door, he'd be safe.
Well, I guess that's going to be the issue now. Don't go back to that door. Thank you, cameraman. Venenu and eUnited. Wlfy does not look happy on that camera at all. That is a face I've not seen from him since the World Championships in January, and they came in with confidence. I don't think the confidence is going to be lackluster here. They'll go back to the drawing board for game 2 if they do lose this one. At the moment, though, it's going to be a tricky task. The left-hand Phoenix is going to respawn, but guess where Benji is? Already pushing up that wave, and Scream going to hang around this mid to right-hand side option to keep it covered too.
I would also like to see, I'd really like to see the mid lane push, right? The left side Phoenix in trouble. But Deathwalker going to drop the ring here, and this is a bigger fight than I thought. iceicebaby gets chunked out.
Space and time off the mark from Wlfy there too. PolarBearMike gets the credit for iceicebaby.
Hey,
He's trying to get away. Callus falls back to the tower. No ultimate for him. No ultimate for anyone on Team Rival. And that's go time. Shift of gears from eUnited towards the end of this game. Deathwalker, we knew you, but you're already dead. And with that, it's a double kill for Scream. Scream gets 2 kills just as the game started. A lot of this is on the back of Ravana for me. What a great game from eUnited. They put down eUnited quick and deserved game 1.
Scream came through in the early game, looked fantastic on the Ravana, delivered the mid game to Venenu, who then just took it and won the game out from there. All the while, Benji sitting there controlling the scenario. You're a wrestling guy, right? WWE and all that stuff. It's like there's a wrestling match, and Benji's the manager that keeps all the good guys out from fighting his client.
I got you.
That's exactly what happens. Is that eUnited are allowed to do whatever the hell they want because Benji identifies the certain threat and keeps them out of the picture.
Well, Rival, now you saw on the screen, they're going to have to go back to the drawing board for this one. Alpha Jackal, the coach behind them, will definitely have some words to say about that. Honestly, I think a lot of that comes down to picks and bans. I mean, obviously, individual skill matters. The Ravana, for me, really dictated the pace of the whole game there. And it felt like eUnited got everything they really wanted there. It felt like they pushed Rival in that direction the whole time.
I'm gonna disagree with you on that one. I don't think it came down to picks and bans. I think the Odin was the big deal. He didn't have an impact, and I think what came down to it is if that Ravana is a Bastet or any other early game character, an Arachne that Scream can play, it's the same result. Early game from Scream, mid game to Venenu, all the while Benji pushing players out. You got to look at Benji and make sure he doesn't have a pick that can control that game.
In fairness, by the time the Odin got to the team fights, the game was already kind of in the bag anyway. Time to get over to the real analyst on the desk to break this one down. Me and him are going to discuss more of these picks and bans.
Hindu and Tom, thank you very much for bringing us that call. Game 1 going the way of eUnited, and Taco, I don't think it'd be wrong to say that they looked comfortable doing that. They kind of ran it from start to finish.
I'm just gonna drop your flat out. I don't think that the drafts were even the issue here. I think that sure, you probably shouldn't allow PolarBearMike to get Terra because it's his #1 go-to god. He has loved Terra for forever and clearly knows how to execute properly on her. But I think it was just a really unfortunate early game for Rival over everything else. And at this level of play, even the smallest mishaps can usually result in these kind of game situations where recovery is very difficult to accomplish, especially since Rival were kind of basing their draft off of establishing the early game pressure. Running a kill lane like Cerberus and the Anhur, and with Vote having gone for the Blink first relic, it was clear that the mentality there was to look for a first blood opportunity, but it was kind of just turned against them because there wasn't really a whole lot for Ice to do. He just had a really unfortunate spill too early on.
And I think that that's more credit to eUnited than anything else, because in this meta, it actually is pretty hard to leverage early leads into the late game. We see games stall out a lot nowadays, but instead, eUnited were ridiculously aggressive that game. Every time I looked up, 3 members of eUnited are in the jungle of Rival. Venenu and Screammmmm and Benji or PolarBearMike, some 3-man group of theirs was invading a buff, was looking for someone out of position. They constantly were forcing Rival to take fights they didn't want.
And I think to a certain extent as well, this kind of worked against Rival too, because they kind of kept playing into eUnited's lead. They would constantly look to be the aggressors, and I understand that the whole thought process there is to maybe we can catch them off guard, maybe we can establish some pressure around these objectives through the Odin ring. And at times we saw some awkwardly forced ultimates, I feel, from Rival, and that in the long run just led to them being unable to properly execute their composition in the way that they would have ideally liked. And in the end, there's only so much you can actually work with, especially against the Artemis pickup from PandaCat. Artemis was just destroying with those crits late game.
She was certainly swinging once they got there, but Benji is the man that made it happen for them, or at least that's how Mixer Chat felt. He is going to be the MVP for you all here in Game 1. I think certainly for good reason, Taco. Benji was the one that was helping out tremendously in terms of creating space for the rest of the squad to operate. And this is the play that you and I were talking about, where Rival, I think they felt good about their ring and took this fight off the Phoenix.
And then immediately, you saw the Phantom, followed up by Terra ult immediately being popped. It's just, look at how they position themselves around PandaCat, though. Like, that to me felt like the 3-man comp of death, because it looked like Benji and PolarBearMike were all just purely focused around protecting this Artemis, around ensuring that PandaCat could have the ability to free cast on the backside. And while Rival were so distracted by Screammmmm, you've just got PandaCat sitting there throwing crits out left and right.
It took a while, I think, for it to get to that point, but you're right. Yeah, certainly towards the end, I mean, there's nothing they could do about PandaCat on that Artemis. And I mean, Benji maybe not having the biggest impact in that particular play, but certainly throughout the game, right? I mean, what was it that first broke the base for them? They collapsed onto Benji in the mid lane. It's like 4 members of Rival, but the rest of eUnited continue pushing in duo, and they're able to take the Phoenix. It's just how much they had to commit into Benji that caused problems for Rival.